Alright, so I just got back from my trip from Wyoming, and we were in Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, and putzed around Minnesota for a little bit, in Wisconsin. But I want to do a 1,000 round update on this thing. This is the VZ58, basically a VZ58 clone from Century, and I did not pick one of these up when they were cheaper. If you probably saw my last review on it, if you didn't, I'll post a link to it. And we were gearing up, getting ready to go out, and I trying to decide whether or not I wanted to bring my arsenal or bring this thing. And a couple of my other friends were bringing arsenals, so I decided I'm just going to put this thing through its paces. And I was going through it, making sure it was lubed and ready to go. And I noticed the entire barrel was frosted over with rust, and so was the cylinder. So that pretty much pissed me off, and I was digging into it a little more, and they're supposed to be Green Mountain barrels. I've had a Green Mountain. I have one on my Stenmark II, and it doesn't seem to be a bad barrel at all. They haven't had really bad reviews, but I was thinking, you know what, it's non-chrome lined, and I went to the range, this range up in Wisconsin that's pretty much safety Nazis. They only allow one round at a time, and so it's nice. I was sighting in some other rifles with scopes and iron sights, so that's the only time I'll go up there, because it's a nice 100, 200 yard range, and they got 50 also, so I can sight in whatever I need. But I put maybe 20 rounds through this thing. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving for my trip in a couple weeks. I'm not going to clean it, whatever. See what happens. So I've never had issues with non-chrome lined barrels rusting like this, ever. And when I saw that, I went through all my rifles, and none of them had a speck of rust on them. But you know, I ran an oil patch through every single one of them just to double up on them, clean the living crap out of this thing, and I got all the rust out of the barrel, basically, and there's no pitting or any damage. But in the chamber was a decent amount of rust, and I couldn't get all of it out. And I'm sitting there. I don't have a chamber brush for this, so I was trying to use my M14 brush, and it's still, with the crank, it would get stuck in there. So I'm just trying to get in there with a brush, and I got a lot of it out, but not all. So I'm like, you know what? I am going to take this on the trip. I'm going to blow through 1,000 rounds, and if it gives me any hiccups, or if it doesn't, pull the rust out of that chamber, I'm just going to get rid of it, because it just bugged me so much. And so that's what I did. I put 1,000 rounds through it. Did not have one hiccup, one failure at all. It was nice and accurate, and it got rid of pretty much all the rust in that chamber. So I got home, I cleaned the living crap out of it again, and that's how it's been. So we go over the wear, and I'll put in some videos of the thing shooting, but just so you can see after 1,000 rounds, and because I know a lot of guys are trying to figure out if they want to spend these things were going for, I think, $2.99 or $3.99 on PSA a couple of years ago, and now they're in the 600 to 900 range for the 2008, and the 58s are 1,000 plus all day, from Checkmate and a couple other importers. Oh yeah, but the one thing, because I was thinking I'm gonna put a chrome line barrel on this thing, because when I got home, the thing ran fine, and I started digging more. So what Century does is the front end on this thing, it's actually a wider hole for the barrel than the standard VZ. So if I was going to get a Comblock surplus chrome line barrel for this thing, and I know they're under 16 inches, so you'd have to pin a muzzle device on it. It's like, whatever, this muzzle device has worked great, and no big deal. But the hole in the trunnion's bigger, so the barrel would have to be sleeved, or the trunnion would have to be sleeved to even get it to work. and I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna go down that route yet, or if it's even worth it for this gun. But it has impressed me so far. So maybe if it rusts up again, I'm gonna weigh my options. But let's see. So the muzzle device held up pretty well. This thing gets really hot, and it does discolor, but it seems to have come back, yeah, especially after oil. And the front sight post, I was getting a little bit of bleeding out of it, a little bit of rust color out from around here, and so there might be rust under there. Definitely could, but I've seen that with Arsenals also. And the barrel looks pretty good. The bolt on the cover, no, nothing, nothing bad on it. Magazine well has barely any. Oh, here, let me get this stock out of the way. Just a little bit of wear here from putting mags in, but it is aluminum, so it's just coated. I've had chips off of my my P01 like crazy just from doing mag changes, so I expect it. This is a magazine release, and retainer is barely even. Got a little scratch on it. Who cares? And yeah, I got a little bit here. I don't know from what. I mean, I was throwing this thing around pretty well, and throwing it in the dirt, throwing it back in the bed of my truck. So, but holding up pretty well. A little bit on the safety here, and I think that was there from the factory. A little bit of wear here on the buttstock. Not bad though. Held up pretty well. Let's see. Internally, I'm just gonna take the whole gun apart real quick. Just make it easy. Alright, so internally, the rails on it, they're, a little bit of wear here and up front. It's not bad. Pretty much expect all that just from the bolt riding on it. And the trigger sear has some wear, but obviously it's a contact point. And then the ejector, it's got some wear on it, and then from right here it's got some wear. Not too bad. Inside, you can. Sorry, this light's pretty bright. It kind of looks like a little bit of frost, but yeah, still a little dirty. I'm not doing inspection clean on this thing right now. I'm just gonna keep working through it, but yeah, I really gotta get a chamber brush for this thing. But no rust. It's just maybe one little dot of rust, but it's a lot better than what it used to be, what it was. If I can get in the barrel. Yeah, barrel looks fine. Actually, just a tiny amount of frosting inside, in between the grooves. So I'll run a brush through that and see if it comes out. And actually, I think I have a 30 right here. Yep, 30. Yeah, these bore snakes are sweet. I made the mistake of ordering a board brush, or getting a bore snake at Bass Pro for like 25 bucks. And then my buddy showed me these, they were on eBay in China. So it took a couple of weeks to get them. But they are, I compared them, they are exactly the same. They just don't have the packaging. So, and they were $2 or $3 shipped. And they've been working great. Yeah, that took care of all the little bit of frosting. So, and I did oil it really well. I mean, it was drenched in oil, and it was fine. So, I might be getting a little bit of rust, even from the thing being completely oiled. And I don't know how the hell that could happen, but I might have to do another update on that. But bolt, obviously the bolt has a tiny bit of wear, but for 1,000 rounds this thing's looking pretty new and it looks pretty good. The carrier, really a little bit of wear up here and there, and for the bolt, not bad. Not bad at all. Striker has basically no wear on it. Just a little bit here from the trigger sear. Ooh, come on. Yeah, pretty good. Got this little key in here. Where are you? There it is. Alright. And I don't expect anything on here, on this dust cover. Springs are looking good. The double spring's fine. Yeah, no wear at all. So, heat shield, not bad. Nothing really. This thing does heat up pretty good after about 3 mag dumps, but what doesn't? So this is the one thing I do kind of want to replace. Is this is not a chrome lined piston, and you can get the chrome lined original pistons for about 20 bucks on eBay. And some people are saying that these are out of round, and I've rolled it. I mean, this one's fine still after 1,000 rounds, but people were saying that they were bending. And this one, yeah, that one looks perfect. So I don't have any complaints there, but that was the reason I was gonna get rid of it, because people were saying they were bending and jamming. But I don't know. It's the whole 922R compliance thing also, but it cleaned up pretty well. It doesn't have really any wear on it. The tail a little bit, but gas looks good. Doesn't get really dirty. Back here got pretty dirty. Surprising, but you know, right in here is where all the gas is coming out from the piston. So it was something's coming back here, but it kept the gun internally in here pretty clean. Yeah, I also didn't scrub the crap out of it. I still want to see what's going to happen with it, but been held up pretty good for 1,000 rounds, and I'll probably dump another 1,000 through it. in the next, I don't know, 6 months maybe. But I'll give you guys an update on that one if time allows. One thing is, this thing's kind of a pain in the ass. Just putting this piston back in sometimes can be a hassle. It's like you got to get it perfect. There we go. It's close. Yeah. But make sure it goes and retracts freely. Another complaint was they were getting bars on the piston head and it was stopping it from cycling, but that's not bad. You know, I'm gonna run a little bit of grease on that just because it's a contact point. Just on this tail. We got 2 ears. All right. So we're kind of a pain in the ass, but front spring up, or top spring first. Come on. What the hell? Trigger's gotten a little better also on it. It's not the greatest trigger in the world, and I was actually able to bump fire just a little bit, but definitely not like my other AKs. But yeah, so far it's held up pretty well. Just that little bit of rust issue in the barrel and cylinder. I'll keep you guys updated. If any of you guys out there own these things and have had issues or have not had them, let me know. Let me know what you did or found with it. I'd appreciate it. Thanks.